free agent wish list, who I want, who I don't, and why or why not. That's all coming up on Locked On Giants.
You are Locked On Giants, your daily San Francisco Giants podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Giants, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every single day. My name is Alan Stiles. On the show, we provide daily episodes Monday through Friday, talking about the San Francisco Giants in a way that combines passion, analytics with the eye test, and a little bit of fun. I'm from the Bay Area, but I live in Sacramento now, and I host a show at Sacktown Sports 1140, the Alan Stiles Show, 10 a.m., 2 p.m. Be sure to check that out, as well as emceeing Sacramento Rivercats games. All in all, I'm lucky enough to cover a team I've been a fan of all my life. Today, we are talking about free agent wish list. I'm going to tell you who I want on the Giants, who I don't, and why I want them and why I don't want them. And we got some updates based on what has happened so far in free agency. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Download the app today. Okay, so keep in mind as we get going here, and it's a beautiful Friday, so if you are listening or watching this over the weekend, something could have changed, but this is as of a Friday afternoon. I haven't seen a ton so far as moves being made. One thing that I did see, just to let you know, that the Giants will be looking for a new pitching coach. JP Martinez, who had hoped to stay, is now Atlanta's bullpen coach. So the Atlanta Braves announced additions to the coaching staff. That's from Alex Pavlovich. So the Giants will be looking for a new pitching coach. Just wanted to give you that update. But besides that, it's been kind of quiet on that front. It got hot early with the Justin Dean acquisition, the recent World Series champ, but nothing yet. Like I said yesterday, this isn't the same as the NBA free agency. You're not going to see a ton of stuff happen immediately, but we will start to see some big dominoes fall. And we're going to talk about those dominoes right now, starting with the free agent pitchers. And like I said, okay, this is more so about simply free agents. I'm not talking about trades right now. Okay, I'm not talking about trades. So we can talk about trades, and we will at a later date. This is specifically free agents. So some of you that I've seen commenting saying, I'd rather make trades. We're going to talk about trades, but free agency kicking off. So we're going to talk about free agents to start. When it comes to pitchers, I do feel the opposite of how the Giants have told us they felt and told the public. Maybe they don't actually feel like that, but that's what they've been saying, because I feel like the Giants are contradicting themselves a bit. They continue to tell us that they want to focus on pitching and defense. Then do it, but it's going to cost you. To me, it's similar to when you go out and you go get sushi, or barbecue's really expensive nowadays as well. It's going to be good and it's going to cost you. When you go to a good restaurant, and if you say, hey, I'm a foodie, right? I like good food. If you like good food, then it's going to cost you, because you're going to have to go to a nice restaurant, and nice restaurants cost a lot of money. So that's where I'm at with the Giants and how they're approaching this pitching thing versus how I think they should be approaching this pitching thing. So the pitching class, free agent class, is definitely seasoned with vets. All right. Realistically, this is how I think that the Giants should go about it. You have Webb, obviously. You have Ray. I would go get Imanaga, who I said yesterday. And then you have Roop. And then that last spot, that fifth starter, you could go Verlander again if you want. And there are a couple other guys that are floating around. I mean, Scherzer is there. Or you trust the process and you trust your young players. You have Birdsong, you have McDonald, you have Tidwell, who Tidwell hasn't pitched yet, but McDonald looked good. Birdsong, we'll see if he can figure out those issues that he had in the season, and really wasn't that much that deep into the season, but it was deep enough, and he got moved on out here with me in Sacramento. So that's what I would do. I would go get Imanaga. That's what I think is the most realistic thing. You get him on a smaller deal, than some of these big boys. Now, this is different to my wish list. We're going to talk about the wish list later in the show, but this is, I think, a very realistic approach with Roop coming back. What we saw from McDonald, I'm still optimistic that Tidwell could work out or Birdsong could figure it out. So you have that. The other piece of this is obviously you got to go get Tyler Rogers. That goes without being said. He is, I think he's my age. I think he's 35. He's been around for a little bit. He knows the Giants organization. I think it's pretty simple there. You go get him and you feel good about that long relief that he can provide and just that depth piece that he can be for the Giants. So you go get him, and then the real question comes down to closer, right? I'm really torn on the closer thing. The Giants have had some good luck and some that you thought it was good luck and didn't end up working out. Enter Camilo Doval. Randy Rodriguez is going to be out, unfortunately. So it really comes down to how badly do they want to embrace this idea of the pitching and defense? Because if you want to make sure that you have a closer, and we saw how it didn't work out at the end of the season as they tried out other guys and just piecemealed and paper mache'd and duct taped. I don't even know if it was as good as duct tape it together. Then you go out and get somebody. You go get your Edwin Diaz, you pay him that money, and you say, now we have a closer. And when Randy Rodriguez comes back next season or whatever that is, look, how it works now, going back to when the Giants won that World Series, that was just the start of it. But the whole thing with the Royals was they had that 7, 8, and 9 guy, and they would just shut the door on you. That's the norm these days. Everybody is throwing 100 miles per hour. So you have to have a setup guy. Obviously, Tyler Rogers is a specific case in what he does, but you have to have a bunch of flamethrowers. That's just what it is. Specifically, when you get deeper into the season, anybody coming out the bullpen is throwing hard. And it's not just about throwing hard. You got to locate. But going and getting Edwin Diaz doesn't mean that you don't care about Randy Rodriguez. Doesn't mean any of that. Look at Mason Miller. I mean, Mason Miller ended up being a setup type guy or a late relief guy for the Padres. Mason Miller, one of the best closers in the league. And they gave up one of the best prospects in the game, the Padres did, to go get him. Now, I think things flipped around a bit, but that's kind of the point. It's more fluid than back in the day. Hey, we're going to go with Brian Wilson. Now, if you brought in Edwin Diaz, obviously he'd be your closer. But my point is that doesn't mean that you don't care about Randy Rodriguez or any of the other guys that you have brought up in the system. But as far as I'm concerned, if this is who you want to be, and if you're going to be in a lot of close games, you might need to pay for a closer. So that's how I would approach the pitcher situation. On the other side, we will talk about position players, and this is where it gets interesting. Don't move. More Locked On Giants coming up. This episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. You and I make decisions every day, but on Prize Picks, being right can get you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement of this sports season. Whether you're following the NFL, NBA, or both, there's no better time to jump in on the action. If you haven't tried it yet, Prize Picks is the simplest way to play. Just pick more or less on at least 2 player stats, and if you get them right, you win. It takes less than 60 seconds to make your lineup, and you can play anywhere that Prize Picks operates, including California, Texas, and Georgia. I've been using Prize Picks during both the football Sundays and NBA tip-offs. It keeps every game exciting. I like picking my favorite players. That could be Mahomes, that could be Steph Curry, to see how my predictions play out. The new Stacks feature is a game changer. You can now pick more on Steph's points, threes, and assists in the same lineup. Plus, if one of your players leaves the game early with an injury, the reboot saves my lineup from a loss. Download the Prize Picks app today and use code LOCKEDONMLB to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code LOCKEDONMLB for $50 in lineups after your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. I have to tell you about my new favorite jeans, my Doers. Seriously, they've changed my life. Right now, I'm wearing the Performance Denim Slim Straight, and I cannot get over how comfortable these jeans are. I've been reaching for my Doers for everything, running errands, grabbing dinner with friends, even heading to the ballpark, because they look great and feel even better. Here's the thing. Doer jeans have 5 times the stretch of traditional denim, so you can actually move around in them. They're also antibacterial, which means they stay fresh longer, wear more, and wash less. And they're made with Cool Max technology, technology that helps regulate body temperature and wick moisture so you stay cool and comfortable as the day changes. Honestly, they feel as stretchy as my favorite joggers, but look like I'm dressed up to hit the town. Duer is all about combining classic jeanswear style with athletic level comfort and performance. And it's the best of both worlds. They actually pioneered the original performance denim, blending technical innovation with everyday clothing that looks sharp and feels incredible. Simply put, Duer makes the world's most comfortable pants without sacrificing style. Once you try them, they'll be your go-to pair. Trust me. And if you're in San Francisco, check out Duer's store at 567 Hay Street. Pick up a pair for yourself or grab one as an amazing holiday gift. Mention my promo code LOCKEDONSF in store to get 15% off your first order, or shop online at shopduer.com/LockedOnSF for the same 15% off. Shop Duer.com, DUER.com/LockedOnSF. Your new favorite jeans are waiting. Okay, now it is time for the free agents, and specifically, it's going to be the outfield free agents. Just to be honest with you, there are a couple infielders roaming around, but I don't see how the Giants would get there. I looked at Polanco, I looked at a couple other guys, but I think that they're going to rock and roll with Casey Schmidt, so I'm going to focus on the outfielders. All right, I understand that some people, and I saw you in the comments, so I appreciate it. I understand that some people don't want to pay that ridiculous Kyle Tucker $400 million 10-year price tag. It's more than that, but 10-year price tag. But it does get a little dry after that. The two Yankees, Cody Bellinger and Trent Grisham, to be honest, both seasons, in my opinion, and I might sound like a hater, were aided from playing at Yankee Stadium. But I also think the reality is, I'm not sure that Cody Bellinger is worth a 6-year commitment, especially when you do have some prospects that you feel good about, right? The Bo Davisons, guys that we've talked about that are on the way. I just don't think you need to give Cody Bellinger 6 years, and I don't think the Giants want to do that. So I'd meet somewhere in the middle. Someone yesterday brought up Harrison Bader, and it's funny because I've always said, if there are any Pokemon fans out there, I'm showing my millennialness, but Harrison Bader, to me, was the best case scenario for Drew Gilbert, to be completely honest with you. The Charmeleon or Charizard to Drew Gilbert's Charmander, or Raichu if you're talking about Pikachu. So I would definitely bring in Bader. Both Trent Grisham and Harrison Bader project at 2 years, $30 million. Trent Grisham hit 34 home runs. That is not a typo. 34 home runs. And I'm going to tell you this much. Again, might sound like a hater, but there is no chance Trent Grisham is hitting 34 home runs at Oracle, right? Or with Oracle as his home field. In fact, his second highest home run total is half of what he did this season. It's 17. And that was 3 going on 4 years ago. So I think he had a really good power season, and maybe he could do that again, but he's not doing that at Oracle Park. Trent Grisham also had a couple weird situations as far as playing hard, for lack of a better term. There was a situation where he let a ball. He didn't really run to a ground ball that was hit to him, and the player got a double out of it. So Aaron Boone had to speak on that. So no, thank you. I don't think I want to be a part of that and have to deal with that, even though it's only a couple years. The other part of this too is that Trent Grisham, I've always looked at him as a really good outfielder. He slipped a little bit, and he probably is going to get moved to left field sooner rather than later. Elliot Ramos, to me, I think he's obviously going to be a better left fielder than Elliot Ramos, but hitting wise, I'm just not buying what Trent Grisham did. And if you're into the old school metrics and the new school metrics, he hit 235. That's what Trent Grisham did. He had 74 RBIs, only 3 stolen bases. He had an OPS of 811, slugging 464, OBP 348. So again, he did that with 34 home runs. 34 home runs. And the reason I bring that up is getting back to Harrison Bader. You can look at what he did, and he is just who he is. He's a grinder that's going to give you what he's got. His OPS was at 796. Right. So really wasn't that far behind Trent Grisham's, even though Trent Grisham had 34 home runs. So I would go with Harrison Bader, I would say this: either go big or go home. If it were me, I would go get Kyle Tucker and say, we're going to lock this down for the next 10 years. And the jury and the book that's out on Kyle Tucker is that he's not great at anything, or he's obviously elite, but he doesn't have one tool that sets him apart. His bat speed, I was reading, his bat speed is the issue, because when you sign guys to these crazy deals, their bat speed is the thing that is going to decline. So you're going to sign Kyle Tucker, and his bat speed, where it's starting from, is not that high. So throughout the years, it's clearly going to drop because Father Time's undefeated. So when you sign these guys to these crazy deals, you want that bat speed just out of this galaxy, because as it starts to drop, you're still going to get a lot back for it. He's not a burner, if you will. He can't really play center. So I don't necessarily want to do the Kyle Tucker thing, but I would rather do the Kyle Tucker thing than spend 6 years on Cody Bellinger. And I completely flipped from yesterday. I think yesterday I said that I was interested in Cody Bellinger, but looking at what Harrison Bader did, he's going to have a really good market because he played well. And I don't necessarily want Trent Grisham, but at least you can get out of it, right? Even if Trent Grisham doesn't work out, it's 2 years, $30 million. You can get out of it if Bo Davidson or whoever it is starts to ball out. You can't do that with Cody Bellinger 6 years. And again, no, obviously you can't do that with Kyle Tucker, but the idea is that you wouldn't really have to, right? Or that it would work out. So just going back to the guys that we've talked about, you got Bo Davidson, who's ready to come up. They believe he's going to be ready in 2027, and Dakota Jordan, who they believe is going to be ready to come up in 2027. They're 22, 23 years old. They're not young, and I'm not saying either of them will be as good as Cody Bellinger and the former MVP and Kyle Tucker, who is about to make $400 million. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying if you do feel good about these guys, maybe that's the direction to go. So I would go get kind of a placeholder, if you will, in Harrison Bader, and maybe Drew Gilbert can learn a thing or two from Harrison Bader, or Trent Grisham, even though I like Harrison Bader more. And again, we're only focusing on free agents right now. You can clearly do something in the trade market too. And I would wait it out, because you have so many guys. I just think that somebody is going to hit. Or Rainer Arias, who I don't even know if we've talked about yet. He's only 19, but he's due to make it to the big leagues in 2028. We haven't even talked about him, and he's the number 8 prospect. So one of these dudes is going to have to work out. I promise you. Then you drop down to the 20s, and you got Carlos Gutierrez, Trevor Cohen. One of these guys is going to work out. I don't know if any of them are going to be as good as Cody Bellinger, but I'm willing to take that chance, right? So I don't even know if that's the correct way to approach it. I just feel like you either spend a ton on Kyle Tucker, which I don't necessarily want to do, or you just go get a placeholder. I would say at least I wouldn't be able to complain with the Giants to say they didn't go all in if you get Cody Bellinger and just kind of halfway do it. Because I'm saying if they went and got Kyle Tucker, if you went and got Cody Bellinger, that's not really going all into me. And now you got him at a ballpark that's not the same as Yankee Stadium, but you have him for 6 years. I would either say, hey, we're just going to go Kyle Tucker, and if Bo Davidson ends up being a stud, well, they can fight it out in left field and center field with Dakota as well, and Jung-Hoo Lee. We'll figure that out later. But Kyle Tucker, we wanted to lock down one spot. You either do that or you go get a placeholder. I think that's how I would approach it, and that's just my opinion on it. So those are the guys that I've seen, and like I said, I just think the infielders are going to roll with Casey Schmidt. So no, as far as I know, and again, trades are separate than free agents. So I didn't really think it was a good use of time to go over the infielders at this point in time. One more segment with you. Okay, so I've given you the position players. I've given you the pitchers. Now let's cook up my free agent wish list, as well as my free agent realistic list, if you will. Don't move. More Locked On Giants coming up. The NBA is back, and there's no better place to get in on the action than FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Even if you miss the start of a game or want to ride the hot hand, FanDuel has live bets on everything from who will score next to fourth quarter comebacks. Plus, you can even combine your live bets into a same game parlay for a shot at a bigger payout. It keeps every game exciting, especially when your team's making that late push. Right now, FanDuel is giving new customers $300 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. So head to FanDuel.com to sign up and play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Last segment with you on this beautiful, beautiful Friday. So I have created two lists and I have some amounts of money, which will make it very clear what is a wish list, a dream list, and what is realistic. Okay, so let's have some fun here and start with the free agent dream list. Dylan Cease. All right, it looks like his annual salary is going to break down to $31 million a year. All right. And by the way, the Dodgers spent $1.2 billion this past offseason. I just wanted to make that clear before I feel like I'm talking to my parents and I'm about to ask for a new bat. Hey, by the way, Johnny just got a bat that was $500. So this bat for $350 is not that bad. So Dylan Cease at $31 million a year, Tyler Rogers at $15 million a year, Edwin Diaz at $22 million a year. And then if you did go get Cody Bellinger, I know I said I wouldn't do it, but I just don't think I can do the Kyle Tucker $400 million thing. So that would come out to $458 million, which would be close to, but not even half of what the Dodgers spent all offseason, last offseason. So $458 million based on the money that would be obviously committed to them. I just gave you what they would be making yearly. So that is the dream list. If there were no trades and let's just do everything through free agency. Here is the realistic dream free agent list. You got Shota Imanaga at $24 million a year, Tyler Rogers at $15 million a year, and Harrison Bader at $15 million a year. That grand total comes up to $120 million. Which should be a drop in the bucket, for the Bay Area. Them crab sandwiches expensive enough. So that honestly feels too realistic. And I think a lot of people maybe would say, man, that just doesn't really get it done for me. So if you wanted to add something else, going back to the mantra that they keep on telling us, the Giants, if you want to meet in the middle somewhere between my dream and my wish list and my realistic wish list, if you wanted to meet in the middle, you could add Edwin Diaz to the realistic one, and that would take you over $200 million committed to those group of players. But I think a lot of fans would say, hey, that's a pretty solid offseason. The closer thing to me, the more I continue to think and talk about it, the more it sounds like it might be worth investing in. Now, when a closer isn't on their game, almost like a kicker in football in a way, it feels like, man, we're paying this guy all this money. But if you think you're going to be in a bunch of close games, that matters. If you were in, let's say, the Reds, Great American Ballpark, they call it Great American Small Park, right? And we're going to be banging the ball around every single game anyway. Yeah, you probably would still want a closer. But if you specifically know that your hitting is going to be your, I guess, third priority, and first priority in whatever order is defense and pitching, your 1A, 1B defense and pitching, I'm just not sure how you cannot have a solidified closer. That's what I'm struggling with. And the person that I spoke to that knows a little bit about the Dodgers, he's been around. He played for the Dodgers and the Dodgers organization. And the fact that he said he has a feeling that they're going to get Edwin Diaz, that just has me. What do you know, or what do you mean by that, if you will? But yeah, the more that they discuss this and the more that they bring up how they want to focus on defense, you cannot go through. Imagine the torture seasons and the championship seasons without Brian Wilson. Now, they didn't have Brian Wilson the whole time. Towards the end, you had your boy Sergio Romo as well. But imagine them trying to do that without a solidified closer. And I know you can figure it out throughout the season, but right now, they don't even really have any prospects. That's what the issue is for me. So in that regard, I think it might be worth going out and getting somebody that you can lock down. And yeah, it's a gamble, and you've been burned on closers before, either by just performance or by injury. But if this is going to be your calling card, you have to have a closer. You have to have a closer. Now, you can trade for one. Again, this is just free agent. So if you think, hey, we can find somebody that can give us Edwin Diaz type performance, but we don't have to pay them $22 million a year, okay, then go get them. But the Giants have kind of gotten away with it. And the reality is they haven't gotten away with it. Getting away with it means that you've been having playoff runs without somebody solidified as your closer, and they haven't. So they haven't been getting away with anything. I'm going to take that back. They haven't been getting away with it. So since you haven't been getting away with it, maybe it's time to try something else, right? Maybe it's time to just go into the season saying, we have a closer. We have a guy that we know all we got to do is be up 2-3 runs, and obviously they're going to blow games. Everybody does. But we have a guy up 2-1, 3-1. We feel good. We're going to get the lights flashing and the trumpets playing, whatever it is, to lock this bad boy down. So if I were the Giants, it's really hard for me to, for lack of a better term, take them seriously about this pitching thing, unless it doesn't have to be through free agency, but unless they trade or grab somebody that they can go into the season saying, this is our guy, this is our closer. So those are my two free agent lists. My dream wish list: Dylan Cease, Tyler Rogers, Edwin Diaz, and Cody Bellinger. Or it ain't my money, just go get Kyle Tucker. It's just so much money. It really is. My realistic wish list: Shota Imanaga, Tyler Rogers again, Harrison Bader, and maybe just add Edwin Diaz to that too. So again, this is if you are not talking about trades at all. That's what I would do. We'll see if you are listening to this or watching this during the weekend. Maybe something else broke, and we will talk about it on Monday, because we are here Monday through Friday. Probably the only Giants podcast, Giants show that is doing something Monday through Friday. So we appreciate you and all of your support. Have a great weekend, and we will talk to you on Monday. Be sure to follow me on social media at @_Styles Files, Styles with an I. We will talk to you then. And until Monday, peace.